This is One-on-One. We are pleased to welcome David Hodges, Director of the Governor's STEM Scholars Program. Good to see you, David.
Good to see you.
Now, it sounds like a cool name. The Governor's STEM Scholars Program. STEM stands for?
Science, Technology, Engineering, and Math.
And who are these scholars?
So the scholars are 50 of New Jersey's best and brightest students. They're in high school and college. They're students who show a special aptitude for STEM as well as for leadership.
Okay. The program comes out of what? I mean, everything like this that sounds really great and that is helping students. I'm always curious, where did it come from?
So the impetus for this program came from the fact that New Jersey needs to produce something like 269,000 STEM jobs by the year 2018. And New Jersey, as you know, is a state that has, a very strong STEM community. But one of the problems that New Jersey faces is that at the top level, where you have a lot of baby boomers, they're retiring. And so those jobs, they're leaving their jobs. And then—
Hold on, take a step back. Science, technology, engineering, and math.
Yes.
We're okay right now, but those who are in the baby boomer age bracket, they start retiring.
Right.
We're like, well, hold on, who is going to fill that pipeline, right?
Right, exactly.
That's what the Scholars Program is about.
Exactly, and the other part of that is that they're leaving at the top level, and then at the bottom level, New Jersey exports more college students than any other state, something like 27,000. The next closest state is Texas with about 11,000. So we need to fill these jobs, and really reinforce the state's STEM pipeline.
Who even thought about this?
So this was a project of the Research and Development Council of New Jersey.
What is that?
The R&D Council is the state's oldest organization of its kind. It's basically a consortium of a lot of the state's universities, top companies, and government research institutions. And they were basically looking at this problem that the state was facing, and they said, you know what, we really need to do something about it.
Okay, and that's where our friend Tony Ciccatello comes in, who, in fact, told us about you. He heads up the research.
Yes, he's the president of the council.
And Technology Council. So go back here. How do these students compete to become scholars?
So basically what we did is that we worked with the New Jersey Department of Education, and we contacted every single superintendent in the entire state and told them about the program. And so we had basically something like 225 people who applied during its inaugural year, and 50 of them were selected. And we did basically a point system, about 100 points, and it was based on things like their references, their GPA, their aptitude for leadership, and where they wanted to go, in their community and in the future.
Moving forward, talk about the numbers. How many years have you been doing this?
This is the first year.
Oh, this is the first year,
the inaugural year.
So here's my question: how are you going to get the word out? I mean, other than coming on here. What's interesting to me is you got 250 students. The pipeline is pretty big here.
Yes.
Right? The need is pretty great. You just described it, how many baby boomers are going to be retiring, right? How daunting is that challenge to get the word out? Because you're going to need more students to apply, right?
Sure.
In order to have more scholars in the program to fill that pipeline.
Sure. Well, our program certainly cannot address the entire need for it. I mean, we can't take in that many students, but what we can do is address a small part of it and really draw attention to the problems that are facing the state, and really kind of attract the best students who might be leaving or might look for jobs in Silicon Valley or the Research Triangle or wherever, and tell them, you know what, no, there's actually a lot of opportunity here in New Jersey.
Where is the opportunity in New Jersey? Talk about that. Where is the opportunity in New Jersey? Because you talk about Silicon Valley, and people are like, yeah, I know about that. Or even in Brooklyn. Mm-hmm. A lot going on in Brooklyn. It's talked about as one of the hottest places in the country in terms of research, in terms of high-tech activity. Where is the hotbed of activity in New Jersey?
Well, it's all over. I mean, if you want to go down south, you can go to the Princeton Plasma Physics Laboratory, you can go to the Hughes Center, you can go to Picatinny Arsenal in the north, and those are just the government institutions. If you want to go to other places, you can go to, PSE&G up here,
sure.
T Subcom, BD. I mean, there are, I think, 14 of the top 20 STEM companies are based in New Jersey.
Oh, right in New Jersey?
Yeah. So, I mean, there's a lot going on here.
Talk about what actually happens for these and to these scholars in the actual program. What happens for them? What do we give them?
So basically, what the students are required to do are two things. The first thing is that they go to 4 conferences, and the conferences basically focus on a different theme. Like one's on government and STEM, another one is on industry and STEM, on academia, and then kind of an overview of everything in the state. And at these conferences, these students meet STEM professionals, and they go to STEM class, and they really get a chance to kind of ask a lot of questions and really break down the barrier between student and protege and faculty, whatever. And then in addition to that, the students have to do basically a STEM project. And so the college students, who are kind of like on their way to being professionals, have designed a project, and the high school students are in charge of implementing it. So for example, one of our great college students, a Rutgers student, is building an unmanned quadcopter, which is kind of
what?
It's kind of a drone.
A quad
right.
copter.
Right, exactly.
Which is kind of like a drone. Go ahead.
Right. And so he has designed it, and we help fund him, and his students help build it. And there are all kinds of projects that these kids are doing. Like one of them is building wet solar cells. Another one is basically kind of testing the sense of smell. And it's all these very interesting projects. And so basically what we're doing is that these students are producing these projects, and then at the end of the year at our final conference, we're going to have a panel of STEM experts who is going to judge these projects. And whichever student has come up with the most impressive project is going to be invited to the 36th annual Thomas Alva Edison Patent Awards, which is the state's premier event for celebrating its inventors. And it's yet another example of how we're trying to bolster the STEM pipeline in the state, and really integrate these kids into the system.
It's funny, you talk about Edison. I don't want to open up a whole Pandora's box, but
Sure.
people don't know enough about Edison.
No, they don't.
They really don't. And Edison was right in New Jersey. West Orange?
Yes.
It's a big deal. The whole, by the way, check it out, the whole Edison Museum over there. A lot of his research took place there, and also Menlo Park before that, right? Before I let you out here, I'm curious about this. Who are the mentors? There are a lot of mentors who coach and help and guide these scholars. Who are they, and why would they do it?
You know what? What's been extraordinary to me is that there are so many people who are strong professionals who have these great backgrounds who they come to us and they say, we want to help you.
Why?
Because they are passionate about what they do, and they want to take that passion and really share it with these kids who are also so bright and want to step into their shoes one day.
So these mentors step in because they don't want the pipeline to die.
Exactly. Exactly.
That's really great stuff. And by the way, I want to thank our friend Tony Ciccatello for telling us about what's going on with the governor's STEM Science, Technology, Engineering and Math Scholars Program. David Hodges is the director of that program. It's important. The pipeline is important because, as you said, the baby boomers are in fact retiring. David, I want to thank you for joining us and make sure you come back and keep us up to date, okay?
Yes, of
Good
course.
stuff.
Thank
you very much.
One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation, celebrating over 25 years of broadcast excellence. Funding for this edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been provided by TD Bank, PSE&G, MagnaCare, Johnson & Johnson, New Jersey Sharing Network, the law firm of Gibbons PC, and by Verizon Communications. Transportation provided by Airbrook Limousine, serving the metropolitan New York, New Jersey area.